We acknowledge the First Nations peoples of this land, the traditional custodians, and pay our respects to their elders past, present, and future. We recognise the ongoing impacts of colonisation and the importance of a voice to Parliament to ensure the sovereignty and self-determination of First Nation peoples is respected and upheld. We commit to working together towards a just and equitable future for all Australians.
Hi, I'm Keighley, and it's Tuesday, the 7th of March.
And I'm Wence.
And you're listening to
The New Blurt.
I can't take it anymore!
Good afternoon, good evening, good day, and good morning, Blurtsters, wherever you are around the world. You are listening to the New Blurt.
You absolutely are listening to the New Blurt. Good evening, all, or afternoon, or wherever the hell you are listening to this show. Tonight I'm coming to you from Wurundjeri country, Kulin Nation, or the Woiwurrung people. Sovereignty was never ceded, always has been, and always will be Aboriginal land. Evening,
right.
Wentz.
Good evening. How are you doing?
Very good,
before we
mate.
continue, excellent. I respectfully acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which I live and work, and which is the Yuggera and Turrbal people's sovereignty was never ceded. Oof, that was a mouthful. It's been a big few days, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it hasn't been a big few days, but just before we go on those few days, I thought I might just acknowledge a few things that's happening at my work at the moment, because we had a big meeting today, and a big all-staff meeting, and it's interesting now because any really big meeting, or maybe all very large meetings, I believe, having acknowledgement of country before. Yeah, before everyone. And that's never, I don't believe there's been my fifth year, I think. I don't believe that's ever happened in any of the other years. So, as you know, as much as we do, we push the voice to Parliament on this show. We're both pro voice. And we understand that treaty is super important, and we both want that as well. But we also know that we need to start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah,
as long as we end up at the same destination, that's all that matters. Yeah,
it'd be particularly good if that was the case. I know we've spoken about this. Obviously, we had Lydia Thorpe as our sort of protagonist of our program last week. In that she was sort of the title of the show. But it's quite funny because I haven't seen her in the news at all this week. Have you? Have you heard anything about her, or did she actually get run over by another vehicle or something?
I don't know. But let's hope that she uses her voice more productively in the coming months. And like we mentioned last week, her cause is very true and valid. But doing it at the Pride just wasn't the right place in my mind.
So, yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Actually, talking about Pride, I think Sydney Pride Festival, that's a Sydney World Pride Festival, is that right?
Yes, that's a World Pride. It's a biannual event, roughly, started in the year 2000, and it travels around the world. I think it's been to Brazil, America a few times, other parts of the world. So we only had it for 2 or 3 weeks, so it's a big festival.
Yeah, it is, and it's weird because I mean I knew about the Mardi Gras obviously, but I feel like it's sort of passed me by, and I didn't really take as much notice of it as I thought I was going to.
Probably because you're in Melbourne and I'm in Brisbane, we didn't really hear much about it other than the Mardi Gras, and potentially some people may have heard about the Friday concert where Kylie Minogue headlined in Sydney. So I think if you weren't in Sydney, you probably wouldn't have known much about it.
Oh, right. That's interesting, isn't it? I mean, it's World Pride. So you would have thought it would have been signposted a bit sort of better than that, especially nationally. But,
exactly.
It's a bit.
Be curious to know if anyone listening internationally, did you hear about the World Pride in Sydney this year? So I'd be very curious to know if that did go around the world.
Maybe what we might do, maybe we'll do a poll on one of our social channels on that. What did World Pride mean to you this year? Did you participate, or something along those lines, sort of thing?
Great idea.
And just I'm just really interested because we do a bit of the Mardi Gras and those sort of things, but it's nothing to do with World Pride. But I just find those sort of marches with floats and things boring after a while. But I mean, it's same as Moomba. I know it's a completely different cause. I get that. I understand. But just that. Yeah, I just get bored with it after a while. But I mean, I totally support the cause, and I'm really happy that they can do it. That's fantastic.
That's fair.
And sorry, go for it.
No, just said that's fair.
All I was going to say was we were going to take part in a Melbourne sort of Pride March, but I don't even like I didn't even see it advertised, or I didn't. It didn't get on my radar somehow, or
Okay.
I'm not sure. But as you say, it's all over. So I'm like, well, okay, we must have missed it. But
Yeah. No. I know there were some events around Australia, but it wasn't advertised. I don't even know if there's anything particularly here in Brisbane, but other than what my oldest child did, where they had talked about it last week, but yeah, they had a party here and watched the Mardi Gras live on TV, and we had homemade pizzas and whatnot. So yeah.
Now, we were referring before of how busy you have been during the week, because you decided to put on the uniform and go back to university, didn't you?
Pretty much. I'm mixing minds with the great minds of the young society, because there's a good portion of young people in this class. I think a lot of them are a lot smarter than me, but I guess I bring world experience or real life experience in IT. So
And
I bring a different element.
What's the course you're doing?
A graduate certificate in cybersecurity.
Yeah, but see, go for it.
No, you go. No, you go.
No. All I was going to say was they've grown up with it all. It's just it's in their blood. They've been doing it since they were bloody 12 years old or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And you and I are just, we're just dinosaurs. So we just have to.
Just because they're from the digital age doesn't mean that they're cyber aware, though.
Oh yeah, no, that's a very good call. Very good point. Very good point. Look, it'll be interesting. You might hopefully be able to bring some cyber news to our science segments, etc., etc.
I will. And I wasn't ready for it this time round for our do yourself a favor, but there are a few potties related to cybersecurity and social engineering and a bunch of other stuff. So for the next one, I'll definitely be listening to a few of those, because I only found out about some of those podcasts this week, so I haven't had time to listen. So I will bring that up at some point.
It'll probably help with the course too, I think. Podcasts, I just find podcasts, I'm not going to talk about it too much because obviously we've got potties at the end of the show. But I just find them fascinating. There's just so many amazing. There's a lot of shit out there too, but there's so many amazing.
We're not in that category, obviously.
No. Well, I mean, many people would say we are, but I don't. I don't say we are. But saying that, actually, I think we're up to nearly 5,700 downloads.
Nice.
And this time last year, we were at 5,000. No, this time last year, we were 4,200 or something like that. But I just know that it's not necessarily the episodes that. It's interesting. It's not necessarily the episodes that we're doing now that are downloading, but there's old episodes that people are picking up,
catching up on,
and downloading. Yeah, it's quite interesting. Yeah, and I keep having a look in the analytics to have a look at which ones they're choosing, etc., etc. So, yeah, it is interesting. Something else. Sorry. No, go.
Yes. No, it's just gonna. No, you go, because I think I know where you're going with this.
Oh, I was going to say that's interesting is that apparently, if you've got 3 million in superannuation, that's not very much money.
No, obviously, not enough to survive on. Because if you're earning whatever the interest is on that for super, you can't live off that, can you? That's just too much. What is
no.
it?
On 3 million,
80 or 90,000.
Yeah, on 3 million at 4%, it's 120K for the year.
Oh, geez, no. How can you survive on that? Geez.
And that's in your pocket.
Yeah, exactly. and these people are complaining. And who's complaining?
Oh, there's it's been actually really funny. There was even Channel 9 saw the funny side of it. They went out to Double Bay and started saying how hard it was for these people to not be able to count all the money that's in their super funds. And the shot or the shovel and the chaser had some headlines that said, billionaire speaks out about not being able to afford his fourth mansion or whatever it was. But the actual fact of this is that it's going to, and it doesn't matter what it could do, what it might do in the future. What it's actually going to do, the legislation that's actually going to be passed, is 80,000 people, which is 0.5% of Australia, which is have over 3 million in super, which is, as I just said, only 80,000. And one of those people is 544 million in one account.
That's just amazing, isn't it?
And seven accounts have over 10 million in them.
Wow. I wonder, how do they get that much money? Is that part of that self-managed super fund that they put in property as their investment?
Look, I don't know how you do that. I'm really not sure, because I thought there was a cap on how much you could put in each year.
No idea.
How do you get 5? I'm gonna have to do some more research on it. But anyway, what they've proposed is anyone over 3 million, and it's not retrospective, so that means that it's just onwards from now. Anyone who is over 3 million, anything that's over 3 million, either not before it, but anything after 3 million, you'll pay an extra 15% on, which means all up, you'll pay 30%. But that doesn't mean that you're paying 30% on the 3 million that's already there. You're only paying the extra 15% on over 3 million that's in there.
The 3 million, exactly. So I don't know what they're complaining about.
And
it doesn't kick in for another 3 years anyway. So what are they complaining about now?
Just total and utter horse shit. And the right wing are just trying to have a class war about it. It's easy as that.
Exactly.
So but anyway.
A little birdie tells me,
yes,
I've heard,
yes,
that you're going to be in a show. Another theatre production coming up.
Yes, that's very true.
Do tell. What's happening?
I will tell you. I will definitely tell you. And I fumble as I talk to you because I'm trying to find if I can find it, which I think I can, and then I can bring it up, which I will. And it's just about to pop up in a minute. Here it comes. Here we go. All righty then. So I'm just going to pop this up. So that worked really, really well.
Inception.
Why did that do that? That's interesting. It doesn't.
For those listening, we just saw ourselves just mirror ourselves basically into an infinite vortex. There we go.
Let's do that again.
Goes again. One of those mirror effects.
It is one of those mirror effects. What is going on? What am I missing here? Why can't I just show that? I don't understand.
I don't know. What are you trying to show? A video?
No, just a picture.
A picture?
Like I normally would. And it's just going like that. So what am I doing? Obviously being a bit silly.
The right tab? Browser tab?
Yeah. It doesn't matter which one I choose.
Yeah.
It's that's a bit weird. I don't understand that.
And the picture's about your show?
Yes, it is. So that's the annoying part. I'm just going to Yeah, just give me a second. Just got to make sure that everything. Yeah. Oh, look, I don't know what. I don't understand. I'm obviously having a very, very senior moment at the moment. But anyway, the website, which we can put in the ticker down the bottom, and I'll stick it in there, Wency, and then you can do your stuff. So that's in there now. You can get your tickets for the show now. It's called Kiniska. I play Poseidon, who is god of the water and owns all horses, apparently. Yes, Poseidon owns all the horses. And yes, and he creates earthquakes and tidal waves and all those sort of wonderful things. That's what Poseidon does.
Nice.
I'm also playing a very aggressive Spartan.
Oh, okay.
But there are no togas in sight.
Right. So do you keep your gear on this year as opposed to last year?
Yes, I do keep my gear on. It was unfortunate, but it was written into the play that I must keep my gear on this year. So,
is it produced by the same people?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And who's the producer?
Yes, look, the producer is. It's written by Rose Isa with music by Troy Portelli.
Ooh, okay.
And the music's quite good. It's quite good. What the story's about is Kiniska was the first woman to win a gold medal in ancient Olympic Games in 396 BC. We don't know a lot about her, but she did enter a male-only games, and so basically our play is a take on what could have happened, what might have happened, how things changed after she went to the games, etc. But you'll have to come and see the show, as Wency has put it in the ticker, because he is brilliant down the bottom there. So it's clocktowercentre.com.au/Flemington Theatre Company Kiniska if you want to get your tickets. It's $35, I think it is. They've got family prices and they've got student prices, I think, kids prices or whatever. Oh, talking about kids prices, there's going to be, it's probably about, best part of, it's a pretty big cast, actually. It's about 10, it's probably about 17 people in the show, I reckon.
Okay. Because your show last year was, what, about 4 or 6?
Yeah, plus all the kids.
Oh, that's right. Yes, all the kids. Yes.
Yeah. So this year it's probably about 16. I think there's a few more adults and about the same amount of kids. So,
and that is playing on Saturday, 25th of March at 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. and Sunday, 26th of March, 3 p.m.
Beautifully done, Wency. And now I think it's time for a little bit of this.
Hey, this is Hannah Melville Ray from the Australia Institute. I'm listening to the new Blurt with Wency and the Kegsta, and you should be too. It's on Tuesday nights, live from around 8 p.m.
Blurt On Society.
Short, but not necessarily sweet.
No.
I'm going to redo that sting. But anywho. So what are we talking about on Boss Tonight, Wency?
Oh, we are talking International Women's Day, which is 8th of March. That's tomorrow for those playing at home.
And what do we know, Wency?
What do we know? Well, the first ever International Women's Day was actually held in 1911. There had been some years leading up to it prior to that where women were trying to get extra rights and things like that. But in 1911, following the decision agreed at Copenhagen in Denmark in 1911, International Women's Day was honoured for the very first time in Austria, Denmark, Germany and Switzerland on the 19th of March, so very close to the 8th of March. More than 1 million women and men attended International Women's Day rallies campaigning for women's rights to work, vote, be trained, to hold a public office and end discrimination. However, less than a week later, on March 25th, the tragic triangle fire in New York City took the lives of more than 140 working women. Most of them were Jewish and Italian immigrants.
So what was that? Sorry, no, back up. What was that fight? What happened? Sorry.
No, it was a fire. So it was a tragic triangle fire in New York. So by the sounds of it, a building caught on fire where women were working, and I think that just brought in a lot of focus to, I know, women being used for labour that possibly were too cramped and things like that.
That was really dangerous situations. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was great that they just kicked off the very first International Women's Day a couple of weeks before that, but then you get tragedies like that.
Now, that was only in a few countries, though, wasn't it? That wasn't worldwide at that stage.
No, not at that stage. But obviously, it took its time to become more international. 1913 to 1914, during just before World War One, there was extra campaigns being done for peace by Russian women, and they observed their very first International Day on February 23rd. Which was the last Sunday in February. Then soon after that, a few countries decided, let's make International Women's Day on the March 8th. So that started in 1914, I think it was, on 8th of March. So it's been held ever since. So over 100 years it's been going.
And in 1975, the United Nations marked International Women's Day for the first time. And in 96, the UN announced its first annual theme. So the theme, as we have in our show tonight, is Embrace Equity.
Correct. And what does that mean?
Basically means embrace gender equity in this case, meaning that make sure it's equality for women and men. But we're only talking gender equality, aren't we? We're not talking anything else. We're not talking race or, it's just total gender equality. Yeah, which is really interesting, isn't it? That, I mean, I think it's fantastic that it's International Women's Day. I absolutely do, and it's, in a way, it's a shame we even need to have one. If you know what I mean.
Especially after it's been running for nearly 100 years, or over 100 years, and yeah.
Well, I mean, the fact is that I think there's more women in the world than men, I believe.
Yeah, it's just over 50%, if I'm not mistaken, 52 or something, 51%.
It's pretty amazing, actually, because with the whole climate change movement and of all the sort of steps we need to take to ensure that our planet doesn't incinerate by 2030 and just after, the main people in line that are doing, so much of the good work, and the heads of different organizations, they're all women.
Yeah.
Ness, my partner, is doing an amazing. It's too hard to explain what the course is about, but needless to say, it's about leadership, but the sort of leadership that we need to go forward and not allow the earth to incinerate. So it's massive, big world thinking. And when we get to do yourself a favor at the end, I have a little bit of a teaser on that, so we could talk more about that. But the reason I bring that up is because there's 42 people on the course that she's doing, and I think there's only like 4 or 5 men.
Oh wow, that's a bit of a table turning of the tables, I guess, for an event.
It is, and in a bad way, because we need more and more men to be totally aware. We need more Sol Griffiths in this world. We need more. Well, really, we need more Adam Vance, I suppose.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just spoke about 2 men, and we're talking about women. So I do want to bring it back to that. And by the new millennium, there was a little mainstream activity for International Women's Day in most countries. So internationalwomensday.com platform was launched in 2001. It re-energized the day and invite mass participation. So we've actually got a International Women's Day breakfast and I think meet tomorrow morning, which will be really interesting.
Nice.
They've got some really interesting women coming in. So that'll be really, really, I look forward to that. It'll be interesting.
Giving talks and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that'll be, that'll be interesting. So, but sorry, go for it.
I was just going to say, I wanted to give an example of today. You and I both work in IT.
Yes.
Women in IT at technical level is very minimal, if not almost non-existent in my experience.
Yeah.
Yours probably just as bad.
No, it's quite
agree?
different where I am actually.
Yeah, okay.
And I think that's maybe because I'm in a slightly different area. I'm not sure because in the data engineering area, which then again, this is interesting as well. In the data engineering area, in the data analysis area, there is heaps of women.
Oh wow! Okay,
Yeah,
that's good because I had to log a service request with a company called VMware, which is a big American company worldwide. They provide virtualization. So that's one of the products that I support. Invariably, 99.99999% of the times I've ever spoken to someone from support has always been a man. But today, I got a woman who helped me out. Obviously, she knew her stuff. She wouldn't be there if she didn't. But at the end of it, I just really thanked her and said, you know what, it's refreshing to see a woman be in the support industry, because we need that variety, we need that equity to come in. And whether, I don't know if that's because there's unconscious bias when people are employing people into our industry or in what I do, that we always end up choosing men, or is it because women aren't applying for those roles? I'm not sure what it is, but if we can get more women applying, doing the courses and things like that, hopefully we'll see that increase over time and faster. The course that I'm doing at university in cybersecurity, I think there's probably about a third to maybe 40% of women in there, and young to older people around my age. So it's good to see. Depends on the industry, like you said in yours, that the women have come in and been accepted by everyone, which is good. I think we need that. So it's good to see.
It's also interesting too, because where I work, there's many very senior managers that are all women, and there's directors as well. There's quite a few directors that are women. So 3 or 4 years ago, that parity of gender was definitely 100% not there. I remember when we had this massive meeting and we had all the directors at the front of the stage, and we were able to blast questions at them. It was really, really cool. It was one woman out of like 8 directors. Now I know that's changed now, and one of the reasons is because the CEO of our company is I can't really tell you the company. You can find out if you want to, but because it's the government, blah blah blah. Anyway, the CEO is all about diversity and embracing gender, embracing cultural diversity, and and gender diversity as well, i.e. LGBT, IQ, etc. So he's made a huge difference, and I've got to give it to him, because I've been, as I say, 5 years. We've never had a CEO that ever talks about what this guy talks about. So whatever I think about him on whatever other sort of levels, when when it comes to climate change investment, whatever. I think he's done a really good job on this side, and I've heard many women speak very favourably about him. And the company that I work for is huge, and everyone in Australia would know what it was if I said who it is and understand it. So it's good that is the case. That something that's so revered, I suppose, that they are making sure that there is such parity there, and it's happening from the top up. The top down,
top down,
the CEO down. Yeah. So
and we're seeing a lot more women apply for to be members of boards.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
That, which is good. One good example is the ABC, Laura Tingle.
Did she get it?
I'm not sure. I know she's put her hand up to represent all staff and be on the board there, which will be, I think, great to see. I think she's
is it a board position or is it a director position? I can't remember.
I thought it was a board position.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Pretty sure. Yeah,
you're probably right. And she's super smart, and she's so well, so well revered. So
yeah. So hopefully she gets it.
Yeah, no, definitely, 100%. I agree with that. But of all the amazing things we've sort of spoken about, and the changes that we've seen and are seeing, and the exciting sort of ways of thinking that women are bringing into and have been bringing into all the different workspaces. And I can only talk from our workspace. There's been so many conversations that have been fantastic that I've heard that I've never heard blokes talk about. And the thing is, I empathize with their conversations so well. So I really, really understand where they're coming from a sort of a emotional intelligence point of view. I find that in IT that there's so many guys that don't really have any emotional intelligence, and I've found that the same women that are side by side, that isn't the case. So it is a gender thing, and guys can learn it, but it's it's a soft skill, and women, not all the time, but many are just born with it, and so we can learn from that as men. So
yeah, exactly.
But the theme this year, sorry,
just like my background says. If you see something that's not right, just call it out, change it. Just let's normalize the equality that we all deserve.
Oh, look, that it goes without saying, and that's as I was just saying before, that's a sad part. Women still face inequality in pay, representation in businesses, politics, education, health, and violence. As you know, domestic violence is not just in Australia; it's internationally.
It is.
It's still. I mean, I was listening to something by John Stewart today. He was talking to a organization that's meant to be in control of the regulation of all the guns in America. Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Apparently, I think they said last month. I'm sure it wasn't last year. Last month or something. I think he said 20 million guns were bought. Wow.
Just in a month.
I'm sure he said a month. Maybe it was a year. I can't remember.
Yeah, it must be a year. That's almost 10% of the population.
Well, as I've said on this show before, I mean, there's 300 something million of them. Only 30 million people in America have guns.
Wow.
It's pretty.
And they have multiple guns too.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. And actually, just sort of going there for 2 seconds, our CEO just came back from America, and he was in one of the red states, and he was having a investment seminar, et cetera, and not one time did they bring up the fact of ESG, which is environment, social, and governance when it comes to investment.
Right. Wow.
Not once. Not once. What wasn't mentioned once, and climate change, not even
thought about.
No, the state's just going to burn up.
I hope that it is just the states and it doesn't spread to the states that are doing good stuff. So
Oh, look, yeah, look, you're 100% correct. You're 100% correct. And yeah. So, 2023 and still not talking about climate change. And also, most of the people on stage, you wouldn't have guessed it, were men.
Of course. In a red state.
Yeah. So, but anyway.
Which is different to our red states here.
Yeah. Of course it is.
The
Yes, very much so. Yeah, a red state in the US means Republican, but in the old days, Republican didn't necessarily mean complete nut job. It just meant a different way of thinking.
Yeah,
but
it's only in the last 5 or 10 years that it's become bad.
Yeah. and a juxtaposition and a complete flip, which is interesting, is three of the biggest nutbags in America, unfortunately, are women.
Oh, really? Who are they?
You've got Lauren Burbert, who's just a nut job, and she's she even calls herself an ultra MAGA. She calls herself that. And then you've got Marjorie Taylor, and then you've got Nikki Haley, who's going for president. You've only got to listen to what Nikki Haley says, and you got to be kidding. So it's interesting. But anyway, so the CPAC conference had quite a few. Yeah, we do. The CPAC conference, which is the Conference of Political Action, whatever, but it's a Republican sort of right-wing sort of think tank talk fest.
Yeah.
Anyway, had these geniuses on stage, and there was quite a few women, which is interesting. But at least they were diverse. So in their nutbaggery, it was quite diverse. So that was quite cool. But anyway, the theme for IWD 2023 is Dare to Be. Everyone can help fight for gender equality, and there's a place, as Wency so eloquently said before, for everyone to contribute and change what they need to change if it needs to be changed. And as we know, there's quite a lot that does. We should be working towards ensuring bright, equal, safe, and rewarding future for girls. And obviously that comes back to there was I don't know if it was real or it was a meme, but I saw something from Saudi Arabia the other day, and they were saying Happy International Women's Day, and it was on a cupcake, and on the cupcake it said IWD, and on the other cupcake next to it, we've allowed your daughter to drive. We've allowed your daughter to drive if it's been allowed by her male
protector or
guardian, or whatever it is. Whatever it is.
I forget.
And I don't know. So I don't know if it was a meme or they actually thought they were doing something good. I'm not sure.
Okay.
It was it's pretty weird.
Yeah,
it was pretty weird.
Doesn't sound right.
No, it definitely does not sound right. No, it does not. It sounds a bit weird. So, but anywho, we should move this show along. So that's International Women's Day, 8th of March, tomorrow, celebrated. So make sure you talk to the most important women in your life tomorrow and wish them that. The funny thing was, I said that to both two important women in my life tonight, and they went, "Oh, is it really?"
Shouldn't it be every day?
Well, that's exactly what the daughter said. Exactly what the daughter said. So, but
it's a bit like Valentine's Day or Father's Day, Mother's Day. Shouldn't it just be every day?
Maybe that should be, but I think IWD is probably a little bit different. It is.
Yeah.
But anyway,
we're far from equality.
We will crack on. We got heaps to do, so let's go.
I got the good news. I don't want no bad news. Don't show me no dirty shoes. I just want the good news. I don't want no bad news. Don't Don't show me no dirty shoes. I just want the good news. And now it's time for When Nature Calls with Wency and the Kegster on the new... Oh, there, big fella. That's the wrong Nature Calling. Oh, right. Here is our new segment, Nature Calls. It's all about the wonderful world of... Wonderful world.
That's one of my favourite things.
Yeah, it took a long time, but it was worth it.
Yeah.
Yes, no. Good news. Yes, it is good news because I have some interesting stuff to share with people here. But that was not.
So you got good news about nature animals.
Yes, I do have some good news, and it's not just news. It's really interesting animal facts.
Oh,
So
I
I'm
love
going to
animal
throw.
facts.
Yeah, I know you do. Absolutely, and so do I. So I'm going to throw a few at you because there's some really good ones here. So octopuses, did you know they have 3 hearts?
I didn't know that they had more than one. I couldn't remember how many, but yes, fascinating.
So
3 hearts.
One pumps blood around the body while the other 2 pump it into the gills. And their blood, what color do you think their blood is?
My guess would be blue.
Why?
Dark blue. No idea. Just a guess.
Oh, okay. Well, you're correct. It is blue.
Yes.
But it's thanks to the high copper levels.
High copper levels from
Yeah.
where? Where do they get copper from?
I don't know. It must be a lot of violence down there. They need some. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure about that one. Anyway,
There we go.
So, owls don't have eyeballs.
What? Yeah, that's why they spin their heads around.
Yeah, which I suppose makes sense, hey?
Do they not have eyeballs, or do they just not move?
They have eye tubes.
What?
Yeah,
Tubes.
eye tubes. They have eye tubes.
As opposed to YouTube.
Yeah.
Get it?
I knew
Where's
that
my
was
pum
coming.
pum tissue?
I knew that was coming. Oh, actually, probably more this one, I imagine.
Why you being a dickhead fool?
I thought that was a good one.
Polar Blairs.
Blairs. Oh, are we talking about Tony Blair now, are we?
Yeah, exactly
XPM
right.
of the Brits.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Polar bears have black skin.
Oh, wow. But white fur. So if
This
you
helps
shave
it
them,
absorb the heat from the sun to stay warm in the Arctic climate. Yeah.
of course it would. Very clever.
It is, isn't it? Isn't nature absolutely astounding? It's
It is.
honestly, and we just
There's
keep
so
trying
much-
to kill it daily.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't improve ourselves. Jeez.
Oh, actually, I did want to bring that up. I didn't bring that up in the banter, but I did want to bring that up. I went to my my favorite Chinese place today that
Oh, yeah.
I frequent for lunch or two, and I had my soup that I have, and when I have it, I normally have the reusable, i.e., not throwawayable, i.e., can wash chopsticks that they give me, so proper chopsticks.
Okay.
And then their bowl, so proper bowl, so they wash the bowl. And I used to get, and then I started taking my own spoon because they give me a plastic one.
Yeah, no. Own spoon, perfect.
Yeah. But they've now changed, and today they gave me a compostable spoon.
Okay. Yeah,
Well, that's pretty good.
That's good.
It's a Chinese restaurant. What do you want?
Yeah, true.
I mean,
that's better than nothing.
That's what I'm saying. So many of them are still doing plastic bags. I'm like, they're actually coming with a compostable spoon. I mean, obviously they could just give me a silver spoon from the kitchen
That'd
and
be-
wash it. Yes, I get that.
Yes, that'd be preferable.
But yes, I
Speaking
get
of
that. But
plastics,
yes.
what's Victoria's stance on single-use plastics? Has it been banned yet? Like plastic bags at supermarkets?
I honestly don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Yeah, in supermarkets, the only things they offer are the big reusable bags.
Oh, okay, so maybe it's already in law. Good. Okay. No, it's just
Yeah,
curious.
But-
Talking about
but-
single-use
but-
plastics.
but no, then these aren't. Yeah, so these aren't single use, but I mean they're still plastic.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
just
decompose, but
yeah, but really, come on, people, just use your as
Bring it on.
Tim. What's his name? Tim. Oh God, it's usually on top of my tongue.
Tim Minchin, Tim
Yes,
Costello.
him. No, that one.
Tim
Tim
Costello.
Minchin says, "Yeah, take your canvas
Tim
bags.
Minchin.
Take your
Yes,
canvas bags. Take your
Yep.
canvas bags. That's what it's all
Yep.
about."
that's what we've been doing for years, even before the single plastic use ban was introduced here in Queensland.
Yes, here too. We've been using. I mean, my dad's been doing it for centuries. My mum was doing it. I mean, it's just it's so ridiculous how we just want everything so quick and convenient. It was the 80s. The 80s destroyed the planet. Seriously.
Oh, yeah.
It was just Anyway, the human brain operates on about 15 watts.
Yeah, so I can light up a little light bulb.
Well, probably. Well, yeah, I suppose. Yeah, be a little bit like that.
Yeah.
Be probably hurt a bit drilling the connection into your brain, especially if you're awake.
Yeah, can you just do it in your ear or something, or up your nostrils? Might be a quick way of doing it.
I'm not sure, but I'm not hanging around you if you're going to be trying these things. But anyway, butterflies can taste with their feet.
Oh wow!
Using something called chemoreceptors that help them to identify plants.
Right.
And females select the correct leaf from which to lay the eggs by drumming it with her feet to release the juices.
Juices off the leaves.
The plant. Yeah.
Plant.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty amazing,
Wow.
hey? Isn't that unbelievable? It's just phenomenal. That is so.
Who would have thought those tiny, tiny little feet, which wouldn't even amount to not even a milligram?
Yes,
how
absolutely.
they can just damp it and get some juice out of it.
It is absolutely nuts. Dogs' sense of smell is about 100,000 times stronger than humans.
Not surprising, which is why they're used at airports and many other places where they're sniffing for things, good and bad.
Absolutely, but their crap stinks so bad. Jesus, how can they stand it? How can they stand it if their smell is 100,000 times stronger than ours? Because Jesus, it's horrible. So, oh my God,
Yeah, that is so true.
Anyway, but they have just 1/6 of our number of taste buds.
All right. Okay.
Which makes sense.
Yeah,
because
it's all done through the nose.
Well, yeah. If you ever seen a Labrador, they'll eat anything, everything. It doesn't matter what it is.
That's probably why they eat their own vomit or their own poo.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, that's probably true. Although I do know someone else has done that, but I'm not going to mention it on the show. Now, and it wasn't me. But anyway,
I don't want to know. Don't want to know.
No, you don't. You definitely don't. Very young child. Anyway, reindeer eyeballs turn blue in winter to help them see at lower light levels.
It turns blue.
Yeah.
I would never thought that the color of the eyes would have made a difference, because I would have thought the receptors are at the back.
Amazing, huh?
Yeah, maybe it's like a filter.
I wonder what color Rudolph's eyes turn.
Red, obviously.
Well, no, that's
scary.
No, that's his nose. That's his nose turns red. I suppose this probably turns blue as well. They're golden colored in summer.
Gold and then blue. Wow.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
No other mammals are known to have this ability.
Interesting.
Isn't that unbelievable?
Yeah, love it.
I thought you would. You'll like this one. A single.
New word of the day, stringle.
I really should have been doing yellow leather, black, yellow. I see. Yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather. I should have been doing that before the show. A big black bug bleeds black blood. Try saying that 7 times fast. Anyway,
no.
yeah, it's yellow lorry, red lorry, yellow lorry, red lorry. Single strand of spider silk is thinner than a human hair.
Yet 1,000,000 times stronger.
But also 5 times stronger than steel.
Wow, okay.
Of the same width.
Oh, wow.
A rope just 2 inches thick could reportedly stop a Boeing 747.
While it's flying. So if you threw it up in the air, airplane would just crash.
Yeah. 2 inches thick would reportedly stop a Boeing 747. That is
lucky we don't have
because I'm enjoying it.
Lucky we don't have giant spiders that can weave a web that big.
Yes, absolutely. Now, I also heard of another animal the other day, and I was too scared to look at it. Now, I'll just see if
do I have to close my eyes?
I'm just going to see what it looks like, and if it's if I can handle it, I'll put it up. Otherwise, I will not. This was from Dr. Carl. So.
Oh, okay. Did you know Dr. Carl is in?
Okay. Bye. Sorry, what was that?
Did you know that Dr. Carl is in Antarctica for 5 weeks at the moment?
Oh, wow. I did not know that. Is he doing a potty from there? Or?
No. Although he is tweeting still. So I don't know why he's not doing his regular show on Triple J every Thursday or other ABC radios shows that he does.
I don't know why I'm not following him. That's what I don't know. I need to sort that out. Now, we'll do a couple more of these because these are pretty damn cool. Yeah. But we will get on to Do Yourself a Favor very, very soon. The clause of, just in case you don't know who you're listening to, you are listening to The New Blurt with Wency.
You are.
The Australia Institute produces high-quality research that has real-world impact, whether it's revealing the $10.3 billion in fossil fuel subsidies provided by federal and state governments last year, or our long-standing research advocating for a federal anti-corruption commission with real teeth. We change minds. To donate, head on over to australiainstitute.org.au.
Do that. Also, the Australia Institute has a really good seminar on tomorrow, I believe, at 11 o'clock, in the morning. If you have the time, and I say tomorrow, I'm talking International Women's Day. They are, if you just give me a second, I'll tell you exactly what it's about. They always have really, really interesting seminars.
I do.
And the one that is on tomorrow is called The Shell Game Behind Carbon Credits with Nick Fike. Cool. So that'll be a good one. It's all about if you want to know how carbon credits are used in this this country.
Oh, in this
by
country.
By fossil fuel companies, because they're the only ones that need it, obviously.
Yeah.
And really how much bullshit it is. But anyway, if you tune into that, Australian Institute, it'll be well worth having a look at.
And if you can't make it, go to their YouTube channel because they do replay the whole episode or recorded.
They do indeed. They do indeed. And if you can't make it again, you can listen to it on a podcast that Catherine Murphy normally replays, or it's on their podcast channel. So you've got heaps of chances to hear it if you would so like to do so.
Yes.
The claws of the mantis shrimp can accelerate as quickly as a .22 caliber bullet. Scientists must keep them in a thick plastic tanks because their punches can break the glass.
Wow.
That is just totally blown me away. Seriously,
That means what we need is a spider that can spin a transparent web 2 inches thick.
What was that? Sorry.
I think we need a spider that can spin a web that's 2 inches thick, that is transparent, and then that's how you keep those mantis shrimp at bay. They won't break the glass. That's what we need.
That could be true. Look, there is so many fantastic facts on here. It's just an amazing, awesome site. I highly recommend if you're interested in animals and facts, and just want to feed yourself some quick ones and just go, wow, like we have been doing. It's treehugger.com/random animal facts that may surprise you. So you can, and we'll have the link in the show notes as we always say.
Exactly. I was going to ask if we can, but yes, we will, as we always do.
Definitely, absolutely. But now we need to crack on. So we are up to do yourself a favour.
You're listening to The New Blurt with Wency and the Kegstar. Next up, do yourself a favour.
Yeah, so the do yourself a favour tonight, it's quite a big one and it's quite a heavy one, and it's one I was listening to a little while ago. I've listened to a couple of these now. The guy's name is Nate Hagens. Now, it might be just easier for me to... You don't need to see anything. Just tell me if you can hear this.
You're listening to The Great Simplification with Nate Hagens. That's me. On this show, we try to explore and simplify what's happening with energy, the economy, the environment, and our society. Together with scientists, experts, and leaders, this show is about understanding the bird's eye view of how everything fits together, where we go from here, and what we can do about it as a society and as individuals.
Yeah, it's quite a light one.
Yeah, it's got me intrigued. I know it's not light, but yeah, wow.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely incredible. It's called The Great Simplification. I'll put the link in the show notes, and also I've got a link that I have popped up there. If you want to, actually, what we'll do is we'll just put that link in the show notes, and that link is to a 30-minute movie. Animated movie that Nate has done. Now, Nate Hagens is, if you give me 2 seconds, I'll tell you exactly what he is. He wears so many hats. He's a multi-authorer, i.e. he's written quite a few books, etc., etc.
Two new words.
Yes.
Did you say authorer?
I did.
Yes. Authorer and Stringles. Yeah. All right. We will try to add those 2 words into the Macquarie Dictionary by the end of the year.
Yes. This one's for Kegster, I think.
Why you being a dick cat fool?
Stop being right. Yeah, no. Nate Hagens is the director of the Institute for the Study of Energy and Our Future. Of an organization focused on educating and preparing the society for the coming cultural transition. Allied with leading ecologists, energy experts, politicians, systems thinkers, roadmaps, off-ramps for how human societies can adapt to lower throughput lifestyles. It is fascinating, amazing, scary, because you have to think and you have to... It's so easy day to day to do what you do. And they do say, and have said for many times, that ignorance is bliss, yeah?
That's the famous saying.
It is, and I get it. I totally understand. Because all the people that don't know or don't understand, when the earth starts heating up and they die, they'll just go, oh, well, I died. Whereas all the people that are trying to do something about it because they understand what's happening and know that there's a better way for us to go will not be not panicking so much, but they will be going, I tried so hard for this not to happen. And for hopefully it won't. But Nate holds a master's degree in finance with honors from University of Chicago and a PhD in natural resources from the University of Vermont. Teaches an honors course, Reality 101, at University of Minnesota. He hosts a weekly podcast, The Great Simplification. So, yeah, he's not a slouch. It's really, really, really interesting, and it will suck you in. And you will start thinking. You'll really, really, and more than any podcast you've ever listened to, it will just make you think about how we can do things so much better and what we need to do to get out of the situation we're in, which is, as you know, if we don't sort out our emissions by 2030, our degrees of warming will be too high, and it will mean, you know, I was reading the other day, I think the Earth only needs to warm another degree or something, and the oceans will just be so hot that so many things will die. They just won't be able to handle it.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that statistic. But I bet some of those changes that Nate's talking about are probably simple things that you and I can do, and then there's the tougher things that bigger corporations can probably do, and governments, be my guess.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Great Simplification, it's all about the bigger picture, i.e. we're not talking micro here, we're definitely talking macro. We're not even talking at business levels. We're not talking at CEO levels. We're talking at United Nations levels. We're talking at presidents of countries levels of, you know, where these changes need to come from. And how we as societies actually need to build a society. Because as Tom Ballard was saying in the book that I'm reading at the moment, you know, we're not really a society anymore. We're more of a consumer plus capitalism. I mean, a real society is cohesion and gets together and tries to discuss and orchestrate ways of doing things in a collective mindset, you know,
and supportive.
That works
supportive of each other. Yeah,
absolutely. And as you probably know, Saul Griffiths in Wollongong, which is the postcode of 2515, is trying to electrify, be the first
postcode or suburb.
In Australia to electrify the whole postcode. Well, at least Matt Keane, who is the I think the finance minister or deputy
treasurer.
Premier
is he treasurer? No, he's treasurer of New South Wales.
Is he treasurer?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
of the Liberal Party.
Yeah. But he's pretty good on climate change. He's actually pretty good on that side. Other things not that happy with him, but when it comes to climate change, he's not bad. Anyway, he's given Saul Griffiths, I think they were looking for 20 million for the pilot, and I think he gave them either 8 or 12 million. So,
okay, that's good.
I would have thought they would probably go, well, let's try and get 20 million. I imagine that's what they probably did, and went, let's see what we get type thing. Hopefully we get this, and so it wouldn't surprise me if they were quite happy with what they got. And to start the pilot. Anyway, that's a microcosm of the sort of stuff, and just, you know, this sort of just feeds into what I was saying right at the top of the show, which is what my partner's studying at the moment, which is all about, if you listen to The Great Simplification, it's all about that, but it's all about how we need to grow leaders that can lead these different thinking that we need to get us through, because the old, you know, archaic way of doing and thinking as we have in the past has led us to where we are now.
Yeah, I think part of that problem that we've got is the capitalism and invested interest that governments now have with organizations like mining companies and things like that, that makes it even harder for them to get away from. And so I think it would be easy if that didn't exist. The government could easily say, all right, that's it, we're going green, we're doing it. But politically, it's not a good move, they'd lose votes and things like that. So, yeah, I want all that to happen. But yeah, I just despair that governments don't do it quick enough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you and me both. I mean, I'm flabbergasted. I still can't even believe that they're really thinking about allowing 117 gas wells to be started.
Yeah. And this is why the Greens are trying to push for the ALP to change their climate policy to not open new fossil fuel mines, because we don't need it. We've got enough coal mines to last decades and still make money. We've got enough LNG. Is it LNG gas?
Yeah, liquid natural gas.
And liquid natural gas and all the other fossil fuels. All the existing mines there's plenty of them to keep this economy going. We just don't need new ones.
No, we don't. We don't. It's something that does keep me up at night. And when you listen to the Great Simplification, you'll have other things that will keep you up.
You'll
at night
never
as well.
go to sleep.
No, definitely
You'll
not.
turn into an insomniac.
You will. But I just think that in 2023, we just can't be ignorant anymore. I mean, you and I haven't been for a long time, but just as a collective, we can't be ignorant anymore. We can't just keep consuming till the cows come home. When we've got our leaders saying, got to grow the economy, all this other bullshit. No, we don't need to grow the economy. We need to give the economy back. We need to get the economy going round and round in circles so it's feeding itself rather than just exponential growth, because that's just shit. All that means is that someone's losing all the time. It may not be you, but someone is.
Yeah, and there's select few who are gaining the majority of profits or any other positive things. It's only a few people who get it.
Yeah, well, see, this is where we were having the conversation the other day too regarding investments, and not just ethical investments, but all investments. Because, the only reason that most of these companies can make the money they make is because they've got shareholders.
Yeah.
If they didn't, they couldn't have so much debt in the world, and they couldn't charge how much they charge, and they wouldn't be able to make the profits that they seem to have to make.
And not give back to the people who actually make them the money.
No, exactly right. We've gone off slightly off topic, but not really. It's all about what we're sort of talking about. Anyway, it's called The Great Simplification. It is brilliant. It's well worth watching. The YouTube link that we put in the show notes, and it's also well worth listening to. It's a podcast. He has a lot of guests, and all the guests are fascinating.
Interesting, cool.
Yeah, so highly recommend that one. Probably 4.5 out of 5 Blurtsters, I'd say.
Okay, nice.
But it'll definitely keep you occupied. No doubt about that one. So, but I think that's probably a lot tonight on that note. So much going on. Now, I listened to Democracy Sausage today. And wonderful Maria Taflaga was on there. And,
nice.
Yes, and that's March. And I remember her saying that she was ready to come back on the show in March.
Awesome.
So hopefully with a bit of luck, we might get her within the next month. No, probably not March, but maybe late April after Easter. So I'll reach out to her again anyway. So anything...
we know she's a very busy lady, and she's always dividing her time between her work and podcasts that she does. But it'd be great to have her back on.
Absolutely. No, she's fantastic and very, very funny. So anything you wanted to plug or talk about?
No, just plug us. If you're watching YouTube, please subscribe and like us because it helps us to spread the word. And speaking of spread the word, tell your friends if you're watching or listening. And yeah, let's get chatting or blurting, as we'd like to say.
Absolutely. Let's grow the podcast as much as we can. Hey, Wency, do you want to just put the details of where the email is for the Blurtstar? Beautiful word. newblurt.substack.com, blurtstar@gmail.com, and Twitter is @blurtnew. We're also on Spoutable and Instagram if you want to get in touch with us in any way, shape, or form. We are going to have a poll out this week regarding if I remember at the start of the show what the poll was. What was?
No, I can't remember now, but we will put up a poll about thing that we spoke about earlier.
Yes, I'll have to go back to the start of the show to remember. But we will get a poll out this week, and Potty should be out by Saturday with a bit of luck. And also International Women's Day tomorrow. So make sure that you tell anyone that you know that is of the gender that is not you, if you are a male, and wish them happy International Women's Day, and maybe do something particularly nice for them would be good. Yeah, it'd be good if you're doing it every day, but that'd be cool.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I think so. So I think that is me. I did have. Oh yeah, and buy tickets at the clocktowercentre.com. I think it is for Kaniska at the Flemington Theatre. Geez, he's good.
There it is.
Clocktowercentre.com.au. You're just on the money. Flemington Theatre Company, Kaniska. So get tickets to that. That show will be on the 25th of March, 26th of March. So tickets are all there. Links will be in the show notes. We've had a good time. We'll see you next week. I will see you. Good night, everyone. See you, Wency. Good luck with your
good
university.
evening, good afternoon. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks for listening.
Bye.